On today's episode, we are doing I was thinking of doing an equestrian themed painting of some mallets. So for those of you that don't know, this is the Jackson Pollock style of painting where you can, splatter paint from above or, pour water on your canvas rather than it being on an easel where you're painting like this. So speaking of water, I'm going to get some water. Water secured. Today's painting is going to be polo inspired, so we'll do the polo mallets. I am going to start with a light cream yellow background. That's how I envisioned this painting when I first got the inspiration. I do love playing polo myself. This is really inspired by the speed of the polo mallet. I may do a broken mallet just to show kind of the speed of the sport, as polo mallets do break when they are hit at a high speed, but we don't always associate or see that process all the time. So I think it's a fun, interesting sort of thing about polo. Actually, if you didn't know, they could be taped back together, which is crazy. So as you can see, I believe you guys can get a view of this here. I have gone in with some yellow paint as my green background. I like to paint the background like this. So I've gone in with some water, and now we are just painting over it. I can see that the top of this painting is a little bit cut off, so I may change the angle just a bit. I'd love for you guys to see my process here. What do we think of this? You can see the art a little bit better, so hopefully this is superior. We've got a little bit of a wider angle. Let's try this for now. This is our angle, you guys. All right, so as we were just taking some water. Now, as you can see, guys, it doesn't take a lot of paint to cover the entire canvas, especially because the water really carries the paint. Now, I've had a lot of people tell me they wanted to see me do a Bob Ross art show. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Now, I love wet paint, so I'm just adding a lot of extra water here because I really like to be able to use that paint. Making the paint wet allows me to really get the depth where I like it. So now we've gone in with the yellow. I want to make this canvas a bit darker. So here's some ochre. This would be yellow ochre. For those that you guys don't know, it's a little bit of darker yellow. Add some cream. And that's going to make this very dark. I'm going to add some white, if I can find that. Some white to lighten this up a little bit. I might not need all of that cream, so we'll see about that. So I'm just going to put a little bit back into this container here. Now you guys can see how this canvas is going to turn out. So polo is often done in an arena, at least for practice, not always in the grassy field. Grassy field is more for the game, and practice occurs sometimes in a dirt arena. which is why I chose this yellow background for the palette, for the mallets, rather than like a green grass, because this painting is more about the sport of polo rather than, you know, seeing and watching the game. So I love to mix the paint around in these swirly shapes. To get a nice even coat. Now, I am an abstract artist, so for me, it's about me and the paint. It's not about being perfect. What I like to get is the color I like, not uniformity. So some people like to use, you know, tape in their artwork, make certain colors one color and then the tape is on there to make sure that there's a straight line there. I do not use tape. I mean, who knows, maybe in another painting I would, but it's not about being perfect. It's not about having it look real, because then we would just be using a camera. And there you have it. So you guys, that is how you get a background on your artwork. I'm debating about whether to make this video 2 parts, one for the background and one for the mallet. And I do want you guys to be able to see the full process. I want you guys to see every single step I'm taking, which in a live stream video like this, I'm not going to be making any edits. So this is the background, and this was episode 1 of Art with Constance.